Hi, I'm Amanda Scarborough, former Texas A&M softball player and two-time All-American. Today's softball fundamental video is brought to you by Team Express. The topic today, pitching. The delivery is the most critical part in beginning our pitch. There's three things that we want to do to make sure that our delivery is the same every time. One is to keep it simple. A lot of times I see pitchers who have a lot of movement, and that's going to throw off my rhythm and my tempo and make my release different every time. Another thing that our delivery wants to have, we need to generate momentum in our arm swing to get our arm whipping around our circle as fast as we can. Our leg drive is one of the most important parts of pitching. It's where a lot of our power comes from, is from our hips and below. So it's really important with how we start. Wanting to make sure that our front foot, we're starting with the heel, our toes off of the mound, and then our back foot, our toes need to be on the mound, making sure that both of our feet are on the mound so that we're pitching legally. Now, to get a lot of leg drive, I'm going to want to raise my heel, digging my front toe into the ground and pushing off of the mound so that my legs can look like this, being really explosive, and push really hard into the ground with a lot of strength, generating a lot of power. What you don't want to see, and what's not going to have you have a lot of power, is someone who just merely steps off the mound. Doesn't explode off, doesn't have a glide with their back foot. One more time, here's what our legs do need to look like. Heel up, toe down into the ground, driving and exploding off of the mound. Let's talk about how to throw a fastball. The fastball grip is our most basic grip. What I'm going to do is take a look down at the ball, find the C that's made from the seams, and place my hand over the C, making sure that my fingertips are on top of the seams. The fastball release is going to take place right about here, kind of in the front of your back leg. My arm is going to be really close to my body, thinking about keeping my elbow in tight, not away from my body, trying to release it way out here. But my fastball release is going to happen at the same place every time so that I'm consistently throwing strikes. If I release it too far back or too early, then more than likely my ball is going to go into the ground. If my fastball release is too far out front, then more than likely my ball is going to be missing too high. So when I come here to my fastball release that I'm hitting every time, I'm going to think about turning a doorknob out in front of me. And when I finish, my hand is going to be pointed like a gun so that I know that I have the best fastball release. It's really important to have a base fastball, especially growing up, to be able to put the ball exactly where you want it to and place it on a corner and have complete control of your pitch. The best place to put a fastball is on the corners and either keep it at the knees or throw it up and in on the hands. The best time to throw a fastball is to get ahead in the count, to where when you need a strike, where it's the no count or 1-0 count or 2-0 count. The older you get, the less and less fastballs that you're going to throw in a game. Now let's talk about how to throw a rise ball. We're going to talk about two different ways to hold a rise ball. There's a 4-seam way and then a 2-seam way. The first one that I personally used was the 4-seam grip, to where I'm going to see the upside down smiley face, and I'm going to put my middle finger to the left of this seam right here. My pointer finger, I'm going to slightly bend. But the most important part is that my middle finger is against that seam to have the most spin and rotation. The 2-seam way, I'm going to turn the ball slightly and find these 2 seams right here, put my middle finger to the left of one seam, and then my ring finger to the left of the other seam, and then bending my pointer finger again. For a rise ball, I want to first of all think about where my weight is at my release. A fastball would have a neutral release with my chin over my belly button. For a rise ball, I'm slightly going to move my weight back with my shoulders back behind my hips, so this way I get an angle for the ball to go up, which is exactly what we want with the rise ball. For my release, when I'm coming down, I want a long arm, thinking about my knuckles reaching towards the ground and staying really long and underneath the ball. My pinky is going to lead through my release, and I'm going to release it right here, almost at the same place as my fastball. When I go to release it, I want to think about turning a doorknob right outside of my body, to where I'm turning it this way. I go all the way through, keeping my arm long through the pitch, and then finishing high to have a nice, tall finish. A rise ball is a really important pitch to have in the game of softball. A rise ball, you want to have a true jump straight up. Some rise balls might fade in like a screwball, and some rise balls might fade away like a curveball. But what you want out of your rise ball is a true jump from 6 to 12, like on a clock. A great time to throw a rise ball is for a strikeout pitch. If you're ahead, up in the count, 0-2, 1-2, and you can throw a pitch about right here and get it to jump and get the batter to swing at it. The older you get, the lower you should be able to start your rise ball, and the more earlier in the count you should be able to throw it. Now, let's talk about how to throw a changeup. For my changeup grip, I'm going to take how I was holding a fastball, and what I'm going to do is just slightly bend my pointer finger, making a small circle with my thumb and my pointer finger. You could also call it like a circle change. Before we talk about the release of a changeup, one of the most important parts is that we sell it. Selling it meaning that if my fastball delivery looks like this, then my changeup delivery is going to look exactly the same. You've got to sell it so that the opposing team has no clue what's coming to them. We're going to talk about how to throw a backhand flip change. Now when I come down with my hand, I'm going to think about leading with the back of my hand and leading so that my wrist is leading through with the ball. Notice how I have a slight bend here, so that way I can actually get a flip. When I finish, I'm going to think about my hand finishing down towards the catcher's knees. That way it makes the ball stay down and it doesn't rise up on me. The last thing that you want is a changeup that hangs. A changeup is the second most important pitch to have after a fastball. It should be the very next pitch that you learn. It's a pitch that'll throw other teams off balance and keep hitters on their toes the entire game. The perfect placement for the fastball just depends on where you're at in the count. If you need a strike, then you should throw that changeup no higher than the knees. If you're ahead in the count, 0-2 count or 1-2 count, then you're going to more than likely try to throw that ball in the dirt so that the hitter can't sit on it and hit it. The best times to throw a changeup are any time in the count. First pitch, last pitch, in the middle of the count. You want to do whatever it takes to use that pitch to your advantage and keep the other team off balance. Now let's talk about how to throw a drop ball. We have a more basic and then a slightly more advanced grip for the drop ball. The drop ball is going to be held just like my fastball across the 4 seams, once again making sure that my fingertips are on the seam the whole time. The more advanced grip is I'm going to take my middle finger and bring it more together with my pointer finger to make this the more advanced grip for the drop ball. Whenever I go to throw my drop ball, I really need to think about keeping my weight forward, having an angle with my body at my release as if I'm pitching downhill. It's not to say that you want to have here a collapse at your hips and throw the ball down here, but you want to think and pitch as if you're pitching down a baseball mound, to where when you land, your weight is already forward. No bend here and no bend anywhere else. So that when you come down, I'm still staying tall, slightly forward, and I'm going to come through and release it just a little bit earlier than my fastball, making sure that my wrist is bent here, backwards. If I come through like this will just stay flat like a fastball. Here, my wrist can bend and give it the spin that it needs to make it go down. The one that I threw just right there was what's called a peel drop. And when I'm here, I want my fingertips to peel against the seams and the side of the ball and have a really quick release and then snap up. A drop ball is a great pitch to throw to get a ground ball out. It's really helpful if you try to throw it when there's runners on second and third to keep the ball in the dirt, in the infield, so that your infielders can make a play for you and not let the ball go to the outfield. It's really important to keep the drop ball down in the zone. The higher it gets, the further the ball is going to go. And then the more strikes that you have, the lower you make your drop ball down in the zone. Drop ball can go on any corner, and it's really important just to throw it on both corners so you can keep them guessing and mix it up. Now, let's talk about how to throw a screwball. For the screwball grip, I'm going to find the upside down smiley face that's made out of the seams of the ball and place my pointer finger and middle finger across the top of the seams, making absolute certain that my fingertips are on the seams. My ring finger, it doesn't have to be on a seam, it's okay just where it's at. But my pinky finger, I want it to be placed kind of behind the ball if your hands are big enough to get it out of the way. A screwball is all going to start with where I push out and put my front foot. With my fastball, rise, and drop ball, I'm going to make a straight angle. But with my screwball, I want to make a slightly open step, not really too far, because that would be an illegal pitch now, but just open enough so that my hips get even more open, and my arm is gonna drop really, really close to my body, coming in with me. The tighter I get it into me, the more on the plate I can start it, and then as I release it, I'm gonna push through and finish away. The more in I start and the more away I finish, the more break I'm gonna get to it. It's gonna look something like this. A screwball is a great pitch to throw to lefty slappers and also right-handed hitters. It's important in both situations to try to keep the ball down. The further you are ahead in the count, the more that you want to move the ball off the plate. And then the more that the hitter is on the plate, you want to throw to the hitter. Even though that hitter is still on the plate in the right-handed batter's box, you still want to throw the white chalk to try to make them move and get out of the way. A screwball is a great pitch to throw in any count. You can get ahead with it, or you can also get a strikeout pitch with it, especially to a lefty slapper. Thanks for watching this Team Express how-to video. For more information, go to teamexpress.com.